Television. Today we are going to discuss, we are going to center our discussion on dry ports across the country. So many dry ports have been left unattended, and others are given specific preferences. Some are only being mentioned while some are implemented. So why is this so? To help us discuss this issue is Mr. Chigachi Austin Eke, a human rights activist from, is calling us from Port Harcourt. So, Austin, if you heard me very well, why do you think that some dry ports are only being mentioned while some are functional at this time?
Thank you very much, Mr. Yeni. To help Nigerians understand the issues at stake, to help Nigerians understand why the Southeast and the South-South are not comfortable with this APC government, we must, first of all, give a true definition of the Nigerian seaport as conceived and gazetted by the federal government. The Nigerian seaports are split into three categories. The Western seaports, comprising of Apapa Port Complex, Tinkan Island, and the recently completed Lake Deep Sea Port and the proposed Badagry Deep Sea Port. That is the one. We have the Eastern Seaport, comprising of the Port Harcourt Wharf, One, Calabar. In addition to that, we have the proposed Ibom Deep Sea Port, Age Deep Sea Port, Bakassi Deep Sea Port,
exactly,
Burutu Seaport, Gelegele Seaport, Ukwa Seaport, Oguta River Port. Apart from the Eastern and Western Seaports, we also have gazetted what the federal government make sure that development reaches all nooks and crannies of Nigeria. The federal government gazetted 11 inland dry ports, namely in Ogun State at Ijobode, in Samiya in Kebbi, in Erumu in Oyo, in Haipan in Jos, Plateau State, in Kaduna in Kano, Dala, in Meduguri, in Oshun, in Ogbashugu, in Delta State, in Onitsha, Anambra State, and Abia. So we have the Eastern Seaport, we have the Eastern Seaport, we have the Western Seaport. In addition, we have 11 gazetted inland dry ports.
But are you no, wait, hold on. Yes. Are you aware that federal government is working on all these seaports? Is it because they have not given attention to those ones you mentioned that you think they have been neglected?
It is deliberate. The federal government is not doing anything about grading or building new seaports in the South. Let us not make any mistakes about it. What did the federal government do railway? And by the way you define the Nigerian railway is equally the same way you define the Nigerian sea, beginning from Lagos to Kano, which has been modernized, upgraded to Eastern railway line from Port Harcourt to Meduguri, which has been neglected. It has been neglected. Nothing like upgrading. Nothing. So what we suffered under the APC government when it was modernizing the Nigerian railway line is still what we are suffering today. For instance, let us make a case of the Ibom Deep Sea Port. It was conceived by Obong Victor Atta.
Yes.
Since 1999, the federal government under PDP refused to give it the necessary operational license.
That is what. Hold on, sir. That is where I wanted to come in, because you are mentioning neglect by APC. Remember, there was PDP before, and in PDP, at a point, we South had a president in the person of Jonathan Goodluck. Why do you think that Jonathan himself neglected those things?
Okay, it's a very good question. You must understand that what is keeping the Eastern Seaports and the Eastern Rail Line undeveloped and neglected? Do you want to? What is happening at the Aso Rock is ethnocentric political.
Well, I won't agree with you on that.
Against ships coming to the east.
Okay.
Hello, sir.
I'm with you.
You have officials in the. Yes, you have some people from a particular sector, a particular part of the country, in the Ministry of Transportation and the MPA. When it comes to giving operational license, they fast track it. For example,
okay.
for any seaport outside the southeast. Let me give you two examples. Between 2020 and 2023, Tinubu, who is sitting there as their president, and Buhari not only approved, they gave all the necessary incentives and money to build the Lekki Deep Seaport.
Yes.
Whereas the Ibom Seaport had been on the drawing board, he neglected it. And when you investigate it, you will see that beyond the Aso Rock, there are permanent secretary directors in the Ministry of Transportation from a particular against any modernization project going on in the southeast and south. The sea is there. Oguta River Port should be built. Pre-colonial time, they were bringing in cargo from Liverpool through the Oguta River Port. Okay, let us look at the second instance. Dry ports. The selective and non-patriotic government of both the PDP, so that only the Dala Inland Dry Port was built in Kano, and that of Kaduna was also built. Tell me, when we debut that of Delta State in West, when we debut that of Onitsha in Anambra State, and when we did of Isiala,
including
Seaport be built,
including Age Seaport and Ukwa Seaport.
Yes, exactly. The Age Seaport. Let us not forget that until 1966, Nigerian students going overseas for studies or coming home bought passenger liners at Area 1 Seaport in Port Harcourt, which will then pick passengers at Tinkan Island, then at Apapa, pick passengers at Accra, stop at Banjul in the Gambia, and then the next stop is at Liverpool. The maritime routes have been developed, but the federal government, certain people in the Ministry of Transportation and MPA, are sworn never to allow the Eastern Seaport function. That is what is keeping the Age Deep Seaport in Bayelsa State from being built. The Gelegele Deep Seaport from being built. Ukwa is only less than 19 nautical miles to the Atlantic Ocean. It should be dredged. The port in Dubai was dredged for hundreds of kilometers. But Calabar Seaport itself was dredged. So when you look at it, it's not by accident. The materials that should have been used to modernize and upgrade the Eastern Railway line that should have fed this seaport was taken by Buhari to Niger Republic and built modern railway line for them. But we are the people. The southern states and the southeastern states are the people paying for the loans taken for upgrading Nigerian railway system. But never saw anything.
So, so are you now? Your calculation is South region is being neglected by the federal government.
I'm not missing words about it. And for those who do not understand, what we are saying is that the Ibom seaport was there before Lekki Deep Seaport. Why was Ibom seaport not built? Both under the PDP and APC, they are two sides of the same fraudulent coin. Any person thinking that what is going on made the forces of change.
Sorry, Mr. Eke.
Destroying this country.
Mr. Eke, just hold on 1 minute. Now, let me tell you, because one, we have on seaport, and
yes,
almost every goods coming outside the country are going into the Lagos and Badagry ports. So if those ones that have been functional in the south are not working, is it federal government now, or those who have the goods that direct where the goods should go?
It's a good question. Let me give you a background, then I'll answer with some. When the war ended January 1970, General Yakubu formulated the Nigeria, and the young naval officer who was in charge of Rivers State, Commander Davis Spiff, also formulated Rivers 5 years development plan. The next seaport which you are talking about is the brainchild of Commander Alfred Davis Spiff and his Commissioner for Finance, Professor Lawrence Ebebu. And Gowon was magnanimous to build One. Now, why are containers not coming to One? I will tell you one thing. In 1995, I was on political exile in Belgium. And I am aware that from Antwerp, when you put cargo in ship like Belgo Malin, they will tell you they are not permitted to go to One.
Why was this so? Why were they not permitted to go to One?
That is the policy of the federal government to strangle the southeast and south. I am not being biased. I love Nigeria. I love my fellow countrymen. Be you Igala, Idoma, Yoruba, Hausa, Ejo. But let us be very frank to say that the federal government, by strangulating the South minorities economically, hopes to stagnate the Southeast. There is no way the federal government can develop the seaport in the South without its multiplier effect, ripple effect, being felt in the Southeast. Rather than developing the South, the federal government will rather strangulate it as a way of retarding the Southeast. That is just the truth. It is the Federal Ministry of Transportation, the MPA, that tells a ship captain or shipping firms where to go and where not to go. If the argument is that there is piracy between Lagos and One Seaport or Port Harcourt Seaport or Burutu Seaport or Gelegele, why Gelegele cannot be? We now ask, what is the Nigerian Navy doing? Are you telling us that pirates can outgun the Nigerian Navy?
Well, it depends.
The truth is that it is the... Yes.
It depends on your thinking now.
Go ahead, sir.
If Nigerian Navy will allow pirates...
It's not my thinking. I have told you that I bothered when, as a political refugee in Belgium, I bothered to go to Antwerp, the biggest shipping seaport in Europe. And I took my time. I'm a patriotic Nigerian. I must understand how the world feels about Nigeria. And that was when I found out that it was the federal government that the Mali should not bring. That it was the federal government policy that Soka Talamis are mentioning two international shipping lines that bring cargo to Lagos.
Exactly.
Belgo Malin 1, 2 Soka Talamis. I know their offices. I took time to research. In Belgium, I met the boys, the Yoruba boys, who were actively fighting all over the place to actualize June 12th. I spoke on a platform with them in Ghent.
Okay.
It is the federal government policy that ships should not come to the south, to the eastern seaport. It's the federal government. The sea has not dried up. The Atlantic Ocean is still there. The ships can still come. They cannot come on their own.
Okay, what do you think informed this decision for ships not to go to the south? Is it economic benefit?
It's not. If the ships do not bring, don't you see that Lagos is congested and that there is chronic unemployment? Even the oil companies who took the decisions for oil companies to remain in Lagos. You think that the oil company Chevron, Mobil, all of them woke up one morning and said that they don't like the Niger of militancy? Was Lagos more peaceful than the Niger Delta? Who made the Niger Delta unpleasant for oil companies? And who is still making the Niger Delta unpleasant for oil companies to return? Who took the decision to incite violence in the Niger Delta? Violence without end. By asking the king of Morocco to build a pipeline instead of building liquefied natural gas plants for millions of our graduates to get a job, you decide to pipe it all the way to Morocco. The Morocco will build it, and in the next 80 years you are going to be importing your cooking gas from Morocco, just like you are importing your diesel in your generator from Malta. Who took those decisions? What we are saying is that it is the unspoken actuality of the federal government to strangulate and make dysfunctional the eastern seaports, and that is why you see.
Anyway, what you have just said now.
Deep seaports.
What you have just said now, that is your thoughts. That is your thought.
It's not my thoughts. It is not my thought. It is what is happening. Is the Nigeria-Morocco gas pipeline my thought? Is it not there? Tell us the economic arguments. Why you didn't present, Buhari never presented it before the Nigerian National Assembly. And you brought in Morocco, brought in the Islamic Development Bank, brought in the Arab Muslim Summit to sign documents. Then in the next 60 years, we are going to be bogged down with war without end with Moroccans and Arabs. That is resource capture. There is a mass scramble for our resources, we know. But we are saying, I have written it, the Nigeria-Morocco gas pipeline will never be. We are going to stop it. Because the pyramid of Egypt that generate billions of dollars every year does not come to our pockets. When Morocco said it's sardine, they don't give it to us. Tell us the economic argument why we have millions of unemployed young Nigerian graduates. Rather than building liquefied natural gas that can up to 30 trains, let European ships come to Lagos, come to Bayelsa, come to Bakassi, and lift liquefied natural gas. You say no. You pipe it all the way to Morocco. Are you not aware of the Nigeria-Morocco gas pipeline that is just under the Supreme Egbesu Assembly, represented by Dr. Felix Chodulo and an American-based scientist called Gabowai?
Yes.
Akamande.
I'm aware.
They have written an open letter, sent it to the European Union, that Ijo gas is not for capture by Morocco. How can you justify it? You built from brass to Morocco. you use pipelines that are 48 inches in diameter. You pipe all our gas to Morocco. Then you build and you bury this, because Buhari and King Mohammed VI of Morocco knew what they were doing was illegal and criminal. So they decided that this pipeline must be buried under the sea. From Brass to Morocco. Then they will not build this thing. It is not going to be. We are stopping it.
Chigachi, before I let you go,
yes.
Before I let you go, I want you to say comprehensively, as if you are talking to government now, what do you want them to do?
One, the southeast and the south-south gas and crude oil fields generate the income that sustains Nigeria, and they are being neglected, both in the railway modernization projects that saw the phasing out of narrow gauge to standard gauge, and in the modernization of the seaports, in the building of Lekki deep seaports. We are being sidelined. What we want the federal government to do, as a matter of urgency, forget whether Pastor or Umoeno defected to APC, or Doediri of Apaibom defected to APC, or
Doediri of Bayelsa.
This Bayelsa or Hope Uzodinma. They will run away. They have already bought houses. Their people hate them more than the hatred of the devil. They will run away. They have made their contingency plan. So this thing cannot help Nigeria. What the federal government should do, build the IJDC port. Lekki was built under 20 months. Build the IJDC port under 20 months. Build the Ibom deep sea port under 20 months. And build the Okwa deep sea port under 20 months. We want to see the Oguta rivers port built under 15 months. And since the federal government has bothered to build the Kaduna Inland Dry Port, which is helping northerners to massively export solid mineral, both legally and illegally, and also build the Dala Inland Dry Port in Kano. We are telling them, build the Obashugu Inland Dry Port, build the Onitsha Inland Dry Port.
Mr. Eke, finally, I want to draw your attention to one thing. Because now, almost every state in Nigeria has an airport, and some of them, no aircraft has visited those airports. Is it what you want the seaports to be everywhere in the south, and not even one ship will go in there?
I am not aware of all those. What we are saying is that if something can be built in Lagos, build our own, and don't ask us what we are going to do with it. Build the IJDC port. Don't ask us what we are going to do with it. We know what to do with it.
It's okay.
It just had been exporting before the first Nigeria ever exported. They were exporting to Liverpool, to Lisbon. It is because these seaports are not there that they stop exporting. So the ships will come.
All right.
Passenger liners.
Okay.
We have just signed the African Continental Free Trade Area. How do you implement it without a single ferry I can drive my car into? I drive my car into a ferry, board that same ferry, and it will stop in Nairobi. And I drive my car, I'll finish my ferry and come back to
exactly.
Port Harcourt. So the ships are not coming because these ports were not built. Build them, and then the ships will come. Why do you complain that Lagos is congested in terms of maritime traffic?
Yeah.
Even it's congested because ships that should have come to the south and southeast are not coming. And don't tell us that no seaport can be built in Nokwa. It can be built. That is the argument of our enemies.
It's okay. I think it's a very good place to land it now. In the last 28 minutes or so, we've been with Mr. Chigachi Austin, aka a human rights activist. He spoke with us from Port Harcourt. He is very, very concerned about certain issues that the South is being neglected in terms of all these dry ports, seaports, and the rest, while Lagos is being congested and some areas are lying fallow there where there are supposed to be ships and other maritime traffic. It's a nice way to hold it there, Mr. AK. I thank you so much for your concerns.
Thank you very much, Mr. Yani.
You are welcome. So,
thank you,
until next week, when I come for another edition of my issues of the moment. Have a nice day.
Thank you, sir.
All right, I'm not going to continue the news.